I'm not asking for forgiveness for what I've done.
I'm done making excuses for you and for me. Nobody's untouchable.
Now, today we're going to be discussing all things Raising Kanan Season 5. There was a short teaser that was released during Fall Season 3, and there were also a couple of extra Season 5 teaser scenes from a couple of new teaser scenes that we definitely will be going through as well, specifically around the relationship between Kanan and Rock. The show is centered around their relationship, with everybody else existing around their orbit. It's a mother and son storyline, this dynamic that they have, their relationship, the love that Rock has for Kanan, but also how that's now transpired into manipulation, lies, the deceit, which has also now trickled over to characters like Snaps and Pop. They've emerged as two of the biggest, most dangerous and most powerful players in the game in Season 4, all from the comfort of their restaurant. But you have to assume at some point secrets will be spilled, the manipulation will come to light, and everything will come crumbling down for a lot of players in Season 5, not just Snaps and Pop. Maybe not everything, because Sasha Penn has teased they answer almost all the questions, but not every single one. I am expecting a few to definitely remain open, and two in particular are Teresa Baselli and Tremon, but I'm sure there will also be a few more as well. Now, in terms of a release date, they did drop this teaser a while back saying Raising Kanan coming soon in 2026. If I were to have a stab in a logical guess at when we'd realistically see Season 5 on our screens, I would personally say June. It does seem like they've got Outlander running just before, so I would personally say summer, but I would definitely welcome it sooner if it does. If it does come sooner, then I think we may even get Power Origins in fall, which I personally don't think we will. They did release a new teaser with all their 2026 shows. You still got P-Valley to return. There's also 50 Cent's new show based in London, Fightland. So we may just have to wait for Origins early in 2027, but hopefully we do get the official release date soon. I'm thinking around summer, around June time for Raising Kanan Season 5. But with that being said, the agenda for the rest of this breakdown is the 2 or 3 new Raising Kanan teaser scenes, Kanan and Rock's relationship, and generally what happens next. So without further ado, let's dig into some of those new teaser scenes for Raising Kanan Season 5. Now, I do think all of us want to know the answer to this particular question, and this scene here is the first clip that they started with within the teaser that they released a while ago, and it's generally where I do expect Season 5 to pick up from. I'm not expecting any crazy time jumps as of yet. They've got a lot of questions that they do need to answer right at the beginning of Season 5. We need to see the fallout of Rock's organization being hit, Lou taking Panessa and Jerome, and Unique's reaction to that, which they now have actually given as a clue. In one of the latest teasers, we do see Unique with Panessa, so they definitely will be reunited at some point. There won't be any harm that comes Panessa's way. But the biggest question and cliffhangers that they left us with at the end of Season 4 was this. Did Kanan shoot Rock? Is Rock alive? Is she dead? Or is she wounded? Is she injured? Now, Sasha Penn did say the following post Season 4. For Rock's final scene, we felt like we wanted to make sure that it felt earned. It didn't feel too over the top because we've built these really compelling characters and this dynamic between mother and son. We wanted it to end in a way which felt credible as it related to their relationship. One of the things that we fairly see consistently online is people are like, oh, Kanan is stupid. Kanan's operating on bad information. Well, first off, of course he is. He's only 17 years old. Every 17-year-old is operating on bad information. And also every 17-year-old thinks they know everything. But having said that, what we wanted to get across in this scene is the pain and desperation that both of these characters feel that things have gotten to this particular point. And we do have to remember what has actually gotten us to this point before we get into the theories and predictions. Rock has been definitely operating on her love for Kanan, no doubt. All she's ever wanted to do is protect him, but by doing so, her methods of lying and manipulating, putting a gun in his hand and having him commit these sorts of acts has definitely completely deteriorated their relationship, where we actually got to the point where in Season 4 she was actually telling the truth because she has no more reason to lie. The cat is out the bag. It's now more Snaps and Pop who are manipulating Kanan and feeding him bad intel. But because of all the lies from before dating back to Season 1, Kanan has lost all faith and trust in Rock. He probably thinks, yeah, she is capable of killing Famous. Yeah, she probably is behind Crystal's death. So I do think it's important that we remember what got us to this particular point where we see Kanan holding his gun at Rock. A lot of factors definitely played a part all the way back to Season 1, right through to Snaps and Pops' manipulation in Season 4. Having said that, they left us on a huge cliffhanger, which has actually divided a lot more people than I thought it would. In my comment section and just the sentiment that I gather from social media, X, Instagram, and everything else, There are some people who actually believe that Rock is actually dead this coming season, which I'm actually very surprised with. We all know how Power do. They love to tease us with these fake deaths and cliffhangers. Is this character dead or is she alive? Is he dead? Is he alive? We've seen this play many times dating back to Power with Felipe Lobos, Kanan. We also saw it with Lauren in Power Book 2 Ghost. And we only have to look at what they did with Unique. So I'm actually very surprised we actually do have people who believe Rock could actually be dead. But again, that's great testament to Sasha Penn in his writing that we do actually have people who believe that she could be dead. They've got us to this point where Kanan has his gun in front of Rock, and they've also given him a lot of intel information, albeit bad information, their relationship which has deteriorated over time, to actually make many people believe that Kanan could actually pull the trigger on Rock. Now, I'm very much in the camp of the majority where yes, we did hear the gunshot go off, but I personally don't believe Kanan hit Rock and I don't think she is dead. Both Sasha Penn and Patina Miller teasers post episode 10 around her death. As far as the question of does Kanan kill Rock, we all heard the gunshot, that's all I'll say. Whether Rock is in the next season or not, I do think her presence will always be felt. Now, I'm personally not buying it. I don't think she's dead. They posted this picture while they were filming season 5 and then later deleted it. So I don't actually believe she's dead at all, which then moves us on to the next question. What happened? Because we all definitely heard the gunshot.
Fuck you gonna say? What?
Now, this is where we can all run wild with our theories and predictions. You can argue Kanan shot Rock, injured her, but she's not dead. You can also say Kanan fired a shot but never hit Rock. Maybe with Unique on the offensive right at the end of season 4, maybe he was the one who actually fired a shot outside and the gunshot that we actually heard wasn't from Kanan, maybe it was from Unique. We know Rock has protection outside her house as well with her bodyguards, so maybe it was one of those guys being hit. Maybe it was Jukebox who came in, maybe Jukebox made the call to Lou or Marvin and they were able to get to Rock's house before Kanan could pull the trigger. Maybe Kanan even saw someone behind Rock and pulled the trigger on whoever he saw, for example Unique or one of his soldiers. Maybe it was even Kanan being hit. This is what cliffhangers do. It opens up the storylines to so many different possibilities, so many questions and angles around what exactly happened, which is why I'm expecting them to pick up right from where they left off at the end of season 4 and then go from there. Kanan is done being played by Rock, he's done making excuses for Rock and for himself. It's time for the pup to turn into a wolf.
I'm gonna tell you like this, you don't want that little nigga in the street, cause he about to go from being a pup to a wolf real fucking quick, that's my word.
Now, Kanan is definitely about to turn it up in season 5. He's done playing games, and what Sam the Crackhead said back in season 2 is a classic Power foreshadow. Sam would have been on the streets long enough to have seen drug dealers come and go, he would have seen gangsters come and go, and he definitely knows the trajectory that Kanan was on. He knows the path that he was about to take, pop to a wolf. We've got him being hit while he's driving. There will be moments where Kanan does get caught, maybe even shot himself. We know 50 Cent loves to take real life elements from his own personal life and then incorporate them into these shows, especially Raising Kanan. So with 50 Cent being shot 9 times in real life, I actually wouldn't be surprised to see a situation where at some point Kanan is actually caught. But with Kanan in season 5, he definitely won't be playing games. We are going to see that wolf that we spoke about just a moment ago in so many different ways. The death of Famous, the death of Crystal will have changed him. He lost 2 people that meant a lot to him that he loved. And we all know how that can change a person in Power. Only recently we saw it with D-Mac turning reckless, looking for revenge on Jannard. So anybody that gets in his way, anybody can definitely get it in season 5. I'm expecting episode 5 onwards to be an absolute bloodbath. Because as he says in the teaser, nobody is untouchable. Which we definitely know. He came in holding a gun towards his mother, so if Kanan is potentially capable of pulling the trigger on Detective Howard, his father, albeit he didn't know that was his pops at the time, but if he's capable of pulling the trigger on Detective Howard and pointing the gun at Rock and potentially pulling the trigger there as well, which I still don't believe Rock is dead, but it definitely does mean nobody is untouchable. It does also make us ask the question, what else is he capable of? I mean, it does kind of go under the radar because of how far back it was, but we know Kanan did not bat an eyelid when it came to killing his own son in Sean, which I do think is the perfect segue into them also teasing, killers aren't born, they're raised.
See, it's real simple. Soldiers are made, killers are born.
Now, back in early season 4, we saw Unique going on a rampage, hurting Rock and her organization in any way that he could. Towards the end of episode 2, he then killed her lawyer, Andre. And that's where we had the narration where the older 50 Cent mentioned, soldiers are made, killers are born. which was Kanan basically drawing a clear line between those who are trained in battle, for example soldiers, and those who actually possess an innate killer instinct, which is God-given and can't be learned. It's a nature over nurture perspective, where Kanan was basically telling us killers have that killer instinct inside them rather than external factors shaping who they are, which very well may be the case when it comes to a character like Unique. He's a character who you can argue has a killer instinct which was born, hence Kanan's narration where soldiers are made, killers are born during that particular scene. However, in the season 5 teaser they have flipped that. They gave us the quote, "Killers aren't born, they're raised," which shifts the focus over to nurture as a driving force. And what I mean by nurture being more of the driving force is how external factors play a role in killers being raised rather than being born. Their upbringing, their environment, their experiences shaping them into killers rather than them being born with that killer instinct, which actually falls right in line with my red and pill blue pill breakdown. I did say something very similar, and it's something I did mention we definitely would be coming back around to with Raising Kanan and Power Origins. During that particular breakdown, I did mention sometimes we don't choose our environment that we're born in, we don't choose where we grow up, we don't choose our families that we're born into, our parents and what they teach us, or who influences us when we're young and learning about the world. It's only when you're a bit older are you able to understand the world that you live in, and that's when you can make your own choices, which we've seen Jukebox do. She definitely understands the world that they live in, and also with Kanan ever since episode 1.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. You pull that trigger, you in it. Ain't no going back now.
You wanted to be in it? You in it.
But it is the early years which you don't have control over. Your environment, growing up in a battle zone, in this instance Queens, having a drug dealer as a mother in Rock, everybody believing that you're the son of a former drug kingpin, DEFCON Stark, his uncles being drug dealers and killers, those people that influenced him at a young age from the Thomases through to characters like Snaps, Pop, and I'm sure in season 5 we're going to get to see more of it from also Unique and Breeze as well. The loss of D-Wiz, Famous, Crystal, killing Ronnie in season 3, that's definitely contributed towards shaping the person that he's now become early on in his life. And I did actually find some quotes from Sasha Penn which does echo that sentiment from my red and blue pill breakdown, where he mentioned the following: "This is how Kanan became Kanan, and this is how we all become ourselves. The people around us shape us, mold us, and our experiences do the same. There's a notion that it takes a village to raise a child. In this case, the village is Southside Jamaica, Queens, and Rock is his mother. This is what it's always been about. When I first pitched the show, I said, look, Kanan wasn't born this way, he exists in power, he had to get there, and what we're going to do is see what that journey looked like." Now, with what Sasha Penn said, I could not agree more, because it is something that I actually mentioned way back in my red and blue pill breakdown. Kanan had to go through an entire journey to become the killer that he became in power, because he wasn't this stone cold killer in season 1. I mean, yeah, we may have seen him pull the trigger on Buck 20, but that was reckless, a mistake, him trying to prove to Rock that he was fighting for her, her organization, and the Thomas family name. But you look at what's happened since, Rock putting a gun in Kanan's hand, asking him to pull the trigger on a cop who only happened to be his father, him killing Ronnie towards the end of season 3 to protect his family, him losing countless of loved ones, dropping bodies in the streets with a bad batch of product, being behind the loss of loved ones for others as well, him growing up in the environment, the life lessons of losing Famous, Crystal, D-Wiz, the manipulation and lies from Rock, Snaps and Pop. There's going to be moments where he's mentored also by Breeze in season 5, and no doubt he's going to have a huge influence on him as well. And that's why he's going to be a character who's raised into being a killer rather than being born as one. There's a journey that he's had to go through to become that particular killer, and that's what we're now watching unfold and will continue to see unfold throughout season 5 and also into Power Origins. I'm also sure at some point in season 5 we'll probably hear the older Kanan mention, killers aren't born, they're raised. There probably will be a moment where Kanan does get another big scalp and a big kill where we do hear the older Kanan's narration mention that, but it's all about the journey of how Kanan got to the ruthless killer that we saw in Power, where he was able to kill Sean, which definitely stems from both external factors, the nature versus nurture that we went through before, but also no doubt his own choices. We definitely have to remember that he had the choice to go to a good school in Stuyvesant. He was a bright kid who had all the potential in the world. But again, the life that he grew up in, his environment, the influences, it all goes back to the red pill and exactly what Sasha Penn mentioned. Now, there are of course a lot of other storylines and plot points and relationships that we do need to consider going into the home stretch for this season of Raising Kanan. There's Kanan and Breeze's relationship. Sasha Penn mentioned everybody had their own imaginations of who Breeze was, and he's a character who definitely will live up to expectation. To Kanan, he may have been strong, not smart. That's exactly what he said to Tariq in Power. But to Snaps and Pop, he's actually a visionary and a scholar. Everybody's perception on certain characters, certain plot points, relationships will always be different, which is why I always go for the approach of looking at different perspectives backed by evidence, facts and findings. Perception is everything, and my perception will always be different to a lot of your guys. So it definitely will be interesting to see this dynamic and relationship in season 5, us getting to know Breeze as a character, Kanan getting to know Breeze as a character as well, his characteristics, what he's like. Did he go through a situation which changed him and explains his love for watching Jeopardy and him having more of a routine? Or was it just Kanan basically chatting shit to Tariq? There's also Kanan's relationship with Snaps and Pop. This was one of the teaser scenes that was released with Snaps and Pop entering Unique's barbershop. You've got the countertop glass looking broken. The shop also looks like a mess. But with these two characters in particular, Snaps and Pop, they definitely are going to be in the thick of the action next season on all fronts. They say they're retired, but they're far from it. They're definitely well and truly playing the game, but they are actually playing their particular game, which at some point I do expect that to change when secrets are spilled. So let's see where they go with the secret of them being behind Famous and Crystal's death. There's also Kanan's relationship potentially developing with Jarita. We know she's going to be in Power Origins for sure. Maybe she's a character who does get introduced in season 5 of Raising Kanan. You've also got Rock and Jukebox's conflict from episode 10, a character who Rock thought she could lean on and the person that she could really talk to, a sense of comfort for Rock in a world where she does have to put on this tough persona to survive. Jukebox was her go-to ever since season 1, but that seems to have gone for Rock as well. Lou's also back in the game, and we all know right at the end of season 4 he took Vanessa and Jerome, so I'm definitely expecting some instant backlash there and Unique somehow managing to get Vanessa back. Marvin also making a lot of mistakes in season 4. He did drop quite a few in the streets, a couple of mistakes and errors in judgment, especially when it came to the Italians. So could one of those errors come back to haunt him? Again, he is someone who I do have on my death predictions because Jukebox does need a reason to leave New York in her rearview mirror. So I do think we finally will see that moment. That also brings us to the storyline with the Italians. Phil Russo stabbing Stefano Marchetti, but he still remains alive, and that's why Phil Russo gave the go-ahead for Unique to attack Rock and her organization. So there is still Unique versus Rock, when well and truly the enemies are actually the Italians, who just seem to love to use these guys to do their dirty work for them. And I'm also really intrigued to see where Teresa Baselli and Tremont fit into the storyline for season 5 as well, because that definitely will give us an indication and an idea into their role for Power Origins. We know from Teresa Baselli's character description that she will be a problem for Kanan and his organization, so it does seem that the past of what the Thomases and what Rock has done will continue to haunt Kanan in Power Origins for more reasons than one. But that's a wrap with where we are with Raising Kanan season 5 in terms of Kanan, the teasers that were released and what we've seen so far. Some questions we need answering, which I'm sure no doubt straight off the bat in episode 1 they will get straight into it. But with that being said, drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section, and as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.